In Egyptian movies, we are always impressed with the scene of sandstorms thousands of meters high and scary, swallowing everything. It seemed that these fictional scenes were only found in movies and were staged by humans, but they are actually a real, amazing natural phenomenon. So are they really as scary as the rumors say? Let's learn all about sandstorms today. Are sandstorms really scary? If sea storms are a terrifying obsession with violent rains and windstorms that knock down trees, sandstorms are no exception. Sandstorms do not have heavy rains that flood all roads and houses, but instead fine sand that is swept by the storm into whirlwinds covering every corner of the space. Sandstorms are a very common meteorological phenomenon in arid and semi-arid regions. They are created when a strong wind lifts dust and sand from the arid surface. These particles are transported by leaps and bounds, being carried from place to place until the wind weakens and stops. Sandstorms only occur in sandy areas and arid climates. Specifically, there are desert regions such as the Sahara Desert and drylands around the Arabian Peninsula, and also some lands in Iran, Pakistan and India that enter the Arabian Sea. The cause of the sandstorm is believed to be a prolonged drought and high summer trade winds. At the same time, the inefficient farming and grazing practices of the people in this area are also considered to be the cause of sandstorms. In 2011, an Oxford University geography professor researched and stated that driving in the desert could also cause sandstorms. The desert surface today is being ploughed by traffic and industrial activities. In addition, the warming of the earth causes abnormal weather phenomena, increasing droughts and expanding deserts. Therefore, sandstorms are appearing more and more frequently, greatly affecting people's lives and health. Scientifically, experts still do not know how much impact this sandstorm will have on the earth, but surely the dust in the air will reflect some sunlight and wrap the earth's heat. Many people call sandstorms the fury of nature, and they are like a terrible destruction machine on a global scale. They often appear unexpectedly as walls of dust many kilometers long, thousands of meters high. Winds in sandstorms also combine with thunderstorms to increase their destructiveness and intensity. To measure the extent of sandstorms, people often rely on horizontal visibility to distinguish them, but their destructive power is always at an unpredictable level. This fearsome destruction machine can sweep away houses, destroy crops, livestock, and many more. More seriously, sandstorms also wreak havoc on the environment. They ruin the surface soil necessary for agricultural production, leading to crop failure and famine. At the same time, in the wind, they carry away toxic chemicals such as pesticides, toxins, and herbicides. Large sandstorms can also carry salt from dry salt lakes or seas, cross international borders, and pollute and salinize fertile arable lands, or destroying many coral reefs off the coast of the Caribbean Sea, speeding up the melting of ice in Greenland and many other ice-covered areas. Indeed, the extent of the destruction by sandstorms is unpredictable. On the screen, you can see the horrors of a sandstorm in the Sahara. The camera is at many different angles to show enough how scary it is. The speed of the wind at this time can reach tens of kilometers an hour. When we shoot from above, we can even more clearly see the horror of this storm. Thick layers of black dust rolled like a storm and blackened the whole sky, thousands of meters high. How terrible they are could be seen from satellites. It seems to be able to swallow all that it comes across. Drone footage over the town of Parkes in central New South Wales, Australia, captured a giant wall of dust moving across the landscape. Terrible winds generated by thunderstorms across the state blew away sandstorms, turning day into night in some towns. This sandstorm covered more than half the state of New South Wales. It pushed air pollution levels 1,500 times higher along the 600-kilometer coast of this state. even spreading to Queensland. It's estimated that this sandstorm dumped about 75,000 tons of dust in the Tasman Sea every hour. A huge sandstorm erected into a giant wall of dust as high as a mountain swept through the state of Texas, United States, causing local people to panic. This giant dust cloud is up to 88 kilometers wide at its widest and nearly 1 kilometer high. The US National Weather Service was also surprised by the magnitude of this sandstorm. The Terminator has brought the Lubbock region back to the Martian period. The light completely disappeared in the huge dark mass of dust. Trees, power poles, and houses were toppled. Many traffic accidents occurred in the city of Phoenix, Arizona. Police had to block many streets, and dozens of flights were delayed or cancelled. More recently, in 2021, in the middle of the day, the sky of Beijing, China suddenly darkened, and a huge dust cloud of the Gobi Desert in Mongolia attacked the city. At least 12 people went missing in this storm. The power system was completely cut off, traffic was paralysed, and many airports had to close. Authorities recommended that people with respiratory illnesses, children, and the elderly should stay at home. This could be considered a historic sandstorm in this billion-population nation. The high layer of dust covered the sky, making people unable to move in time. In September 2012, the city of Sydney, Australia, turned a red colour after being hit by the largest sandstorm ever recorded. Formed in a remote drought region, this sandstorm travelled more than 1,500 kilometres to Sydney, creating the highest and most widespread dust pollution levels recorded in the country's history. Famous buildings such as the Sydney Opera House are almost completely invisible due to the red sandstorm. Although now, governments and agencies have taken many measures to limit sandstorms, such as planting trees to protect the desert sand, and limiting environmental protection activities to limit drought. However, the obsession and damage of the sandstorm is still there, threatening so many people living near the desert. The video comes to an end. Hopefully, the above has answered the question of whether sandstorms are really scary. Goodbye, and see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to watch other interesting videos.